All right, so for this video is going to be part 2 of everything Hyperliquid, just all the basics and everything. And we're going to be covering off this bar right across here above my position and just what everything does. So first off, balances, that is just everything you own. Pretty simple. Check your assets if you own Bitcoin, Hype, or just USDC. Yeah. Positions, just all the positions you currently have open. Just monitor the leverage, price, liquidation, margin. We'll go over what these specific things mean. Then outcomes, that's all your finished trades results. You can see profits and losses from kind of completed trades. Open orders is limit orders, take profit orders, all of those ones that we were talking about, any order that is waiting to execute. You can cancel orders, you can change orders in this page. Then TWAP is just all the active TWAP orders. Of course, unless you're trading hundreds of thousands or even millions, that isn't as useful. Then trade history, we'll go back to Chase. Trade history, pretty simple, just every buy and sell you've ever done. Funding history is all the funding payments you've ever done. This just per hour, pretty simple. These are more informational based, not really too useful. Then order history is just every order you've placed, including like canceled orders or rejected orders, just every order you've placed before. But yeah, pretty understandable, pretty simple, not super useful. Positions tab is probably the one you'll use the most, just because you can see all the current open positions. And then, yeah. Okay, and then back to chase order. That is actually a really cool feature. It's where it sets limit orders to chase the current market price. It's where you can try to get a better price than market price in a fast moving market, but you're not getting market price. So let's say I want to buy Hype at 30 or 65, but then it just keeps moving up. Then what Chase will do is it'll move my limit orders up to just be like 20 cents or 50 cents under the market price, so it could hit it. And yeah, it's an interesting it's interesting, but it's not as useful unless you're in a more fast moving market with much more volatility. Then just going over the positions page, market, just which asset you're trading, the size of your position after it's leveraged, position value, just it tells you what your position value is in the currency that you're using it. Entry price, just the price you entered the market at, the mark price that you entered at, the mark price where it is currently. P&L, your profit / loss. Liquidation price, where you'll be liquidated and it'll take everything. Margin, which is your money that is keeping the trade open. Then funding, which is how much funding you've either received or paid so far. Close all, which is just close all your positions, and then you can add a take profit or a stop loss. And that's pretty much just everything here. There's also like limit. You can decide to close your trade at a certain price, close it at a market price, or reverse, which is switch it around. So if I'm doing a long position, I click reverse, I can start shorting. Yeah. And then if we move the screen a little bit over here, we can see the corner. Can we see that? Yeah. So with all of these, let's go over this. Persistent trading connection. This is actually good to keep on. It just keeps you better well connected to the site. And then skip open order confirmation. I would say no. And even with skip close confirmation, even though I've been trading for a while, I still like that it asks me if I'm sure I want to do this. Hold to close all positions. That's actually good because you don't want to accidentally click close all your positions and mess everything up. Customize layout. I personally did do because I don't use the order book, so I just chucked it down here, and then I can expand this out a little bit. So customize layout was pretty helpful. You can kind of move things around to fit your setup a bit better. Show buys and sells, which is just the bubbles it shows on the chart where I bought and sold. Set order book size on click. I don't use the order book and I wouldn't suggest using it. Animate order book, no. Disable background fill notifications. You know, I'd like to keep those open because if I have one of my limit orders filled, I want to know about it. Disable plain sound for fills. I'm going to turn that off because I do want to hear the sound. Hide P&L. I mean, this is good if you don't want to focus on the money, you just want to focus on, I have that on because I don't want to focus on how much money, I don't want to look at the numbers going up, I just want to look at the percentages. Kind of try to stay a bit more objective. Then show all warnings. Yeah, I would keep that on. Just especially when you're starting out or you just want it to make sure you don't accidentally misclick. Disable transaction delay. It removes a safety feature that helps prevent accidental duplicate transactions, which I'm going to keep that enabled because I don't want accidental duplicate transactions. And then display verbose errors. It just displays a more detailed error, which is good because if you want to troubleshoot the error, you can, it's a lot easier with the entire error. And then the last one is opt out for spot dusting. This is just where it cleans up the dust in your wallet. It's like 0.3 cents or something. It's not really, doesn't make that much of a difference. I think over time, once they clean out a lot, like millions of wallets, it's worth some money. But you know, if they take 0.3 thirds of a cent out of my wallet, I don't really mind. But yeah, and that is kind of all I wanted to go over for the part 2 of everything Hyperliquid. So thanks for watching. That's the end of the video.